friends, I've been playing with fruit lately, and I thought how fun to draw these little raspberries, which I love raspberries. So I'm going to paint a little collection here and show you how I might draw them, an easy way to draw them. So let's just get the general shape, and I'm drawing a little bit darker so that you can see, and then I'll go in with a pen as well. Let's do maybe another one right here. So this is just kind of the general shape. Something like that. Got my handy dandy black wing here, which you know I love those. I want to make this, let's see, I'm going to redraw that one here. Okay, and let's make it a little bit fatter. There we go. I like that shape better. Okay, sorry for that camera shake. And then we'll just kind of bring this out here. Maybe make that like that. We'll get to that later. So here's our little raspberries. Here's the key though. So excited to share this with you. So raspberries are always hard because they have all those little bumps. So what I do is I very lightly, I'm going a little bit darker here, draw in these little guidelines. Now, as I get to the bottom, I get them closer together. So right here, they're a little bit wider. As I go down, they get a little bit closer together. And this is gonna help me line up my berries. You know me, I love my guidelines. There we go. So I've got these little lines in there. Now I can go in and I can just draw my circles. So here's a circle for all the little berries. And when I get to the edge, I carry it a little past the edge like that. And then my second one, I'm fitting in these berries in between. So kind of like that herringbone pattern. Start here. Isn't that fun and an easy way to get your berries kind of lined up correctly? Otherwise, I have a heck of a time. And actually, I should do this in pens so that you can see. I think I'll do that. Let me find my Micron pen. I actually like my Ohuhu pens, but I've used them up. So I'm going in, just drawing my little berries. There we go. They don't have to be perfect, right? Because what's perfect? Nothing that I know. We're perfectly imperfect. There we go. Let's just keep going. Now, as I get to the bottom, they get just a little bit smaller. Almost done here. There we go. And then maybe at the bottom, I had some berries and I was looking at them and they kind of, you see just the bottoms of the berries. Doing this really quick. Here we go. I'll try to edit this and see if I can speed this up for you. And I'm bringing those circles outside the edge along here. Then I'll go back and just erase these lines, the pencil lines. Getting a little bit smaller. And then on the bottom, I'm just showing like a portion of that. So we're almost done here. You can fast forward if you want. That doesn't hurt my feelings. Making them bigger here. And I love the color of raspberry. Of course, it's that beautiful pink color. There we go. And look how easy that is, you guys. Right? Because I've painted blueberries in the past and I was always like, oh, just can't quite get those little berry parts quite accurate. But this is a great way. And then on the bottom, you're just showing kind of the bottoms. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So perfect, right? I mean, perfectly imperfect. And then what I'll do is I'm going to take my, let me find it, my little handy dandy kneaded eraser, which I've shared with you guys before. I'm literally had this for ages. Pardon the camera shake there. So sorry. I'm going to roll over, and I'm doing that because I want to get rid of the little pencil lines and just have my pen lines there. So sorry. I know my camera is moving around there. And the reason I don't like to scrub too much with the regular eraser is because it can damage that beautiful texture we have. This is the Artisto pad, by the way. Okay, now I'm going to go in there, and you can do this one or two ways. You can go in there and just do a little swoosh to create the berry strokes, or which is going to leave a lot of white space in there, or you could do a glaze over the whole thing. So I'll do a couple to let you see. So maybe the first one I'll do just this little glaze, and look at that beautiful color. That's our red violet in our Mylang palette. For the glaze though, you want it to be really light. So let's just go over. I'm just using a little bit of the side of my brush. I'm not getting real particular here. And just glazing over. That's it. And then what I'll do, I'm going to let that dry. And I'm going to do this one kind of on a little individual basis, which you could do as well. So just swishes. I'm leaving some spaces in there for white. And one of the reasons I kind of like this technique is you can leave a lot of white space, which I love. I think it's so pretty and interesting. So just swish, 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 smush, smush, smush. Look at all the beautiful white space in there. And then we're gonna go in and just tap in some dark purple. Swish, swish, leaving that white space. And there we go. I didn't do these here because they're right next to this, and I don't really want it all to blend together. So I might go in here. I ate all my raspberries, guys. Sorry about that. Otherwise, I would have shared those with you. Maybe towards the bottom, I'm just tapping in a little bit of this purple. We could even use a dark red, which maybe I'll do some of those too. But I love that I can leave the all the white areas. I think it's really interesting. So I'm just tapping in wet and wet. The ones along the bottom, I definitely will add purple, and look at the beautiful blends. Now I'm still gonna go into this one, but I want it to dry. And there you go. Like, we're basically done except for the branch and the little leaves. So let's let that dry a bit. And let's see, how should we do this one? We could do this one with the glaze as well, but let's do a warm glaze. So I'm going to use, let's see, what color is this in Mylang? I lost my little swatch. Well, anyways, if you have the Mylang palette, it's going to be right here. Let's see what that is. Yeah, look at that warm color. That's a warm red. So I'm going to show you the difference when you use the different undertones, the underglazing. Not getting real picky here. So we've got a warmer berry color over there. See if that's, yep, that's done. Now I can go in there with that beautiful red violet, and I can add some swishes in here like we did. There we go. And I'm not like getting nitpicky or anything here. Just kind of pressing down on my brush. So those are a couple different ways with the glaze there. This one individual, which is leaving you more white space. This one, I've got a warmer glaze, so it's going to look a little different. Let's go ahead and go in and do our little branch here. So I'm going to use, let's see, get that out of the way. Let's use a Van Dyke brown. It's one of my favorite browns. I just like it. It's real earthy and dark and warm. And I think it's so pretty when you have a pop of color like this. So loading my brush, tap, tap, tap. And now while this is wet, I'm going to go in and dab in maybe some green before that dries. Let me grab some of my green and dab that in. This is my tree green. There we go. And I can do the same thing here. Creating these branches, but look at how interesting the branch is when we go in there with wet on wet. Pick up a little bit more of that brown, tap, tap, tap. And tap in. And now we'll go for our leaves, which my raspberries didn't have leaves on, so I'm going to kind of ad lib here a bit. Picking up, loading my brush. I've got about 50-50 in here. It's pretty movable. Tap, 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 and look at all the paint that comes off. And let's see, let's create, I want to say they have like little curly things that come up like that. Whoop. There we go. I'm going to make that a little bit more pigment in there. So maybe 80% pigment, 20% water. And we still need to add in some touches to that too. But look at how fun this is. So point, press, and come up on the tip. Press, open that belly. There we go. Press, lift up on the tip. Point, press, Ah, look how fun that is. I feel like we need a couple little leaves in here. So I'm gonna do maybe a little leaf coming out here. Let's see, I'm trying to imagine that leaf. Press, there we go. Press, opening the belly. Look at that. Tap in. I'm going to warm up that color just a tiny bit. And we can also add in some of the brown to that. Let's do another leaf coming out here. Point, press, open that belly. Point, press. And then I use the tip of the brush just to shape it out a tiny bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of brown. You could even add the color of the raspberries in there, which I think would be really pretty, just like I do my flowers. Like that. Look at how fun this is. Okay, we haven't finished this one, so let's go in. This one we did a cooler underpainting. This one has that warmer brown. Now I'm going to take these and I'm just switching over. But the fun thing here is look at, it definitely gives you a different vibe, right? It's a little bit warmer. I'm just pushing down kind of like little dabs. There we go. And look at how different the three colors are, all different effects here. So I'm basically done. I could add one more leaf over here just because I like to work in threes. Let's add one more here, maybe a little tiny one. Point, press, and come down. Then we can add in just a tiny bit of brown or the pink. Let me show you what the pink would look like. I always love adding pink to my leaves if I'm painting a pink flower, or in this case, a pink raspberries. And there you go. How fun is that? All right, I hope you guys give this a try. That is the only way I can really draw a decent raspberry, is by using that little bit of a guideline. All I'm doing here now is adding in a little touches of that purple, especially as I get down near the bottom so it looks a little more shaded. There we go. And you could do splatters, you could do whatever you want here. And the ink, the pen and ink, I think makes it really fun and interesting. All right, I hope you give it a try, and I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for being here. I love waking up every morning and seeing your comments, especially those that say, I'm now calling myself an artist. I hope you tell yourself that every day, because you are. You wouldn't be pulled to this if you didn't have that artist in you. So play, have fun, discover, do little exercises like this, and most of all, enjoy. Happy painting.